This is the story of the Telgi stamp paper scam. A scam that grew slowly, quietly, and spread across cities before the country even noticed it was happening. In the 1990s, India's legal system still depended heavily on physical stamp paper, official sheets used for agreements, property papers, contracts and loans. People bought it without thinking. Offices stamped it without question. Trust in the system was automatic. But behind the scenes, that trust was about to be tested in a way nobody expected. Our story begins in the early 1990s. Abdul Karim Telgi, originally from Karnataka, had already faced legal trouble for small forgery-related activities, according to reports from that time. After serving his early sentence, he moved to Mumbai and entered the business of selling official stamp paper. The job allowed him to understand the entire supply chain, where papers came from, how they were printed, and where the gaps were. He didn't need a major breakthrough. He just needed one weakness in the system, and he found it. Investigators later reported that by the mid-1990s, Telgi had managed to get access to high-end printing equipment, machines similar to the ones used in government presses. With these machines, he could produce stamp papers that looked almost identical to the real ones. The operation didn't stay in one place. Warehouse lights moved from city to city. Printing presses were shifted quietly to stay ahead of authorities. And counterfeit papers began flowing into the market through genuine-looking vendors. Cities like Mumbai, Pune, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and many more became part of this invisible network. Distribution spread through agents, sub-agents, and shopkeepers, some knowing, some not. Then came the turning point. In 2001, a police team in Bengaluru raided a warehouse. Inside, they found stacks of papers, half-used printing plates, cutters, inks, and enough evidence to suggest something massive was underway. This was the moment the scam broke into the public eye. Raids began across several states. Officers opened doors to small rooms, garages, back offices, each revealing pieces of the same puzzle. Documents, ledgers, phone diaries, and fake sheets piled up as investigators followed the trail. By 2002 and 2003, the full picture started becoming clear. This wasn't just a small forgery business. This was a system-wide infiltration. Many questions were raised about officials, vendors, and supply channels. Investigators alleged negligence and involvement in several cases, though not all allegations resulted in conviction. But what nobody could deny was the scale. Reports estimated the fraudulent stamp paper circulation to be worth around 6,000 Indian rupees crore. The number was based on seized stock, sales patterns, and distribution routes uncovered in the investigation. Finally, in 2006, after long legal proceedings, Telgi was convicted under charges including cheating, counterfeiting, and conspiracy. Evidence and verification. During the trial, evidence came in layers. Forensic experts compared counterfeit stamp papers with the originals. Under microscopes, the ink patterns and paper fibers told the truth: these sheets were not government-made. Police produced printing machines and plates seized from raids. Ledgers showed money movement. Phone logs showed communication chains. And witness statements connected distributors to the wider operation. Journalists reported regularly from the courtrooms and press briefings. Their updates helped the public understand the growing scale of the scam. Step by step, the pieces matched up, until the entire structure of the fraud stood exposed. While the scam seemed like a crime against the government, the real victims included ordinary people. Students renting rooms. Families buying homes. Small businesses signing agreements. They bought stamp papers that looked official, only to later find out they were invalid. Legal offices, banks, and insurance companies suddenly had to double-check thousands of documents. Queues grew longer. Deadlines were missed. Deals fell apart. People spent days fixing paperwork that should have taken minutes. For many, the biggest shock wasn't the money, it was broken trust. Something as basic as a piece of government-issued paper had failed them. And that shook confidence deeply. Experts later explained that the scam revealed a critical truth. It wasn't just about one man printing fake papers. It was about a system that didn't notice it for years. One expert compared it to a door that didn't need breaking open, because the spare key was already lying inside. Another said it was like a river overflowing, not because of heavy rain, but because the walls holding it were weak. The case pushed for reforms. Better printing technology. More secure storage. So what do we know? A network of counterfeit stamp papers spread through genuine-looking channels. Investigations uncovered machines, documents, and distribution routes. Courts delivered convictions based on verified evidence. But some questions, about scale, about individual roles, and about oversight, still stay open. And that leads us to what came next. After the case, one change was almost guaranteed: better security. Government presses adopted new technology, new seals, and new tracking systems. Slowly, offices across the country began shifting from physical stamp papers to digital alternatives. It didn't happen overnight, but the push began. As for whether a similar scam could happen again, experts believe the exact same method is unlikely, but vigilance is still needed. Because fraud evolves with technology, and every system has to keep learning. The Telgi stamp paper scam shows how something as simple as paper can carry enormous weight. It teaches us that trust is a delicate thing, built slowly, lost quickly, and repaired only through strong systems. If you want to understand another major chapter in India's financial history, watch our next story. Inside the Harshad Mehta Securities story. This voiceover is based only on verified reports, court documents, and public information from the 1990s to the mid-2000s.